Good morning and welcome. Welcome to Fountain Street Church. I am Reverend Matthew Cockrum, Minister of Spiritual Care and Practice, and it is my pleasure and privilege to be a clergy accompaniment through today's service. Today we welcome to our pulpit Dr. John Cook, a long-time member of Fountain Street Church. It is so good, and one of the gifts of these times that we are able to bring members of our community into this worship who are living hundreds of miles away. So come in to this day which has been crafted and is being crafted by the very hand of life. Come in and relish and cherish the gifts of life, the capacities to see and feel, to hear and know, to understand, and the incredible gift of love that binds us together, that gives dignity, meaning, and worth to all of our days and directs us on our paths. Whoever you are, wherever you are on your journey, wherever you live, come in. Find in this place, in these people, a home for a day or for a lifetime. Welcome to Fountain Street Church.
Good morning. I'm Leonard. I was invited to share this morning. I'm going to read a poem. The title is I've Learned, written by Maya Angelou. I've learned that no matter what happens or how bad it seems today, that life goes on and it will be better tomorrow. I've learned that you can tell a lot about a person by the way she or he handles these three things: a rainy day, lost luggage, and tangled Christmas tree lights. I've learned that regardless of your relationship with your parents, you'll miss them when they're gone from your life. I've learned that making a living is not the same as making a life. I've learned that sometimes life gives you a second chance. I've learned that you shouldn't go through life with a catcher's mitt on both hands. You need to be able to throw something back. I've learned that whenever I decide to do something with an open heart, I usually make the right decision. I've learned that even when I have pains, I don't have to be one. I've learned that every day you should reach out and touch someone. People love a warm hug or just a friendly pat on the back. I've learned that I still have a lot to learn. I've learned that people will forget what you said. People will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. Thank you.
Figure made of clay. Think about the things I lost, the things I gave away. When I'm in a certain mood, I search the house and look. Last night I found these magic words in a magic book. Throw it away, live your life, give your love each and every day. Keep your hand wide open, let the the sunshine through, 'cause you can never lose a thing if it belongs to you. Well, there's the natural obligation to what we hold and claim, possessing and belonging, acknowledging a name. So keep your hand wide open if you're needing love today, 'cause you can't ever lose a thing if you throw it all away. Throw it away. Throw it away. Live your love, live your life each and every day. And keep your hand wide open. Let the sun shine through, 'cause you can never lose a thing if it belongs to you. Gentle, kind emotion as it moves across the land, to cleanse unclenched and open, gifts of life and love it brings. So keep your hand wide open if you're needing anything. Throw it away. Throw it away. Give your love, live your life each and every day. Throw it away. Throw it away. Give your love, live your life each and every day. Keep your hand wide open. Let the sun shine through, 'cause you can never lose a thing if it belongs to you.
I invite you now to find your most comfortable and attentive seat, to join me first in silence and then in some guided meditation. Begin by settling in to whatever is holding you up. Notice the weight of your body and the support beneath you. And notice your breath. This constant companion. Without changing anything, spend a few moments just noticing what it feels like to be here, now, in your body. And when judgment arises or thoughts emerge, simply allow them. Acknowledge them. When the urge to fidget or shift appears, simply see and know from this centered place, acknowledging all that is moving within you and around you, I invite you to say the words, I am. I am. And now to say the words, I was. I was. And then to add to that the words, I will be. I will be. From this place of presence, of memory, and of hope, may we move into our days with hearts restored and hope renewed. Blessed be.
Good morning. I'm John Cook, a 50-plus year member of Fountain Street Church. And this morning, I would like to tell you about how and why I came to Fountain Street Church and why it's been a central part of my life ever since. Sort of a before and after story. I came into this world in a family who were members of the Reformed Church of America. And their serious commitment meant we went to church twice every Sunday. Once in the morning, then Sunday school, and another time in the evening. And it also meant that I had catechism on Wednesday night. I attended public schools in Grand Rapids and graduated from Calvin College, which prepared me for the University of Michigan School of Dentistry. After completing dental school, I volunteered for the doctor dentist draft and spent 2 years in the Army serving in Fort Knox, Kentucky. After completing my commitment, we moved back to Grand Rapids with 4 daughters. One was 3, the twins were 2, and the youngest was less than 6 months. We joined Central Reformed Church, and I started my dental practice. And while my practice grew quickly, I also was elected to be a deacon. And I taught Sunday school to high school seniors. Several years passed, and my practice grew, and we added 2 more daughters to our family. And then Fountain Street Church entered my life. My wife, Barbara, who did not share my religious background, began attending Fountain Street Church. And she encouraged me to listen to the Voice of the Liberal on Sunday morning before I went to church with the girls. And I began to use some of Duncan Littlefair's teachings in my Sunday school class and believed it would be helpful to meet with Jack Bowers, who was the Minister of Education at Fountain Street, to determine whether I could incorporate some of the program they had there into a revision of our program at Central. I kept listening to the voice of the liberal, and I felt I should contribute to it. And that led to an invitation to lunch with Duncan Littlefair. Now, you who knew him can imagine what went on. In fact, the impact was so great that I shortly thereafter resigned from Central Reformed, and we all became Fountain Streeters. And so began my long education as a member. I began my involvement at Fountain Street by co-chairing the annual pledge campaign. And this led to being on the governing board and eventually chairing it. And after that, I was on the pulpit committee, which selected David Rankin to follow Duncan Littlefair. And I was also on the Fountain Street Trust Committee, and a long-lasting committee that determined how to spend the funds from the fund. And later I served as a co-chair of the committee to rebuild the organ. To add to these responsibilities, I joined the choir. And thanks to Jim Culver, the minister of music at that time, I learned to play the organ. And I was privileged to play the postlude a couple of times. Volunteering was challenging and certainly was interesting and very important to me. But I knew it wasn't what Fountain Street Church was about. Before I'd become a member, I knew that historically the church had taken positions on social action issues. I knew that in the late 40s, Duncan and Paul Gogo gathered support to turn over the city government that was controlled by a political machine. There was a clean sweep, and it handed the mayoral election to Gogo. I was also aware that members led the community to bring Planned Parenthood to the city in the 1960s, and I think the church provided office space for them. And social action continued to be an outcome of the values of this congregation. Yet, I soon learned that there was something more that motivated all this action. Part of my preparation for talking to you today was a conversation with each of my daughters who live in Michigan and Florida and Arizona. And I asked them what it meant to be immersed in character school as teenagers after having been at Central. First of all, it was no more catechism. And although their experiences were different, there was one common response. It was all the Sunday mornings in character school, visiting other church services that marked the beginning of how they would approach religion in their own lives. No longer were they going to be told what to believe. They had to find out for themselves what worked for them. As their father, I was so grateful that they were stimulated to start searching. They were building a foundation to become adults with open and free minds to choose how religion would impact their lives. And I think this begins to describe the spirit of Fountain Street Church. When my daughters were in Fountain Club, I remember volunteering to be one of several adults present during Saturday night big-name rock concerts sponsored by the club. They were exciting. The auditorium was totally filled. And then I remember the next morning entering a church, the exact same space, with an entirely different feeling. I think Sunday mornings are the heartbeat of the church. The uniqueness is a service that's filled with a mixture and blending of music, of friendship, certainly intellectual stimulation. There are challenges, but there's also validation. There are times meditation. There's sometimes a collective experience of awe, and certainly gratitude, while demanding no pledge to believe in an absolute truth. The Fountain Street experience guided me to find a deeper meaning to the other parts of my life, which has sustained me most all of my life at Fountain Street Church and continues in my retirement to Arizona. I have never found any other church that has brought together the same mix of intellectual stimulation and spiritual feeling. Not found a similar approach to heightened awareness of the deeper meaning of life. It's this source that has nurtured this church community all of these years and given life to all of the other programs that were initiated and sustained by the church. You know, all of the leaders of this church in my time there, Duncan Littlefair, David Rankin, Fred Wooden, all tried to help us understand the meaning of life without trying to impose some dogmatic thoughts upon us. We all had to find it on our own. And I think that spirit and strength will carry us through our search for a new leader. This search is complicated by the pandemic, but I think the spirit that has inspired us in the good times and carried us through the difficult times will lead us on to find new leadership. I anticipate a new future with new inspiration and a new leader to stimulate our minds and to feed our souls. And so I am so grateful of the ties of love that have bound me to the members and leaders of Fountain Street Church and helped me to find dignity and meaning and worth and joy through the days of my life. Thank you for letting me share this with you this morning.
Words of unknown origin. This church is a community of ourselves. Its energy and resources are our energy and resources. Its wealth is what we share. When we contribute to the life of this community, we also affirm our lives within it. My friends, each week that this community gathers, it does so as a gathering of people with gifts and hopes and dreams and fears and desires. This gathering today, bringing in the gifts of music by our own Robin Connell, the gifts of reflection and hope and voice from Dr. John Cook and Jane Cook. And it also invites you to continue to participate in the life of this community by not only watching, but by offering yourself. There are so many ways to offer into this community, ways of service, ways of participation, and one very concrete way is the act of sharing your wealth, sharing your financial wealth with this community so that its mission and ministries might thrive and flourish. And so this morning, the offering will be gratefully received. And I invite you to do so in a spirit of generosity and affirmation. Thank you.
It's only at the twilight that fireflies become alive and light little sparks in time to catch a little glimpse of their way like me. When I was young and stayed out till after dark, the fireflies reminded me how to start to trust whatever's waiting when night has come. Just as lightning reveals part of the way, while we stumble in blind disarray. Wait for wisdom to come like a spark. Even fireflies light up the dark. The moon, the planets, they are all passing by. Reflect the light of the sun high in the sky. So catch the tiny light of the firefly. Just as lightning reveals part of the way, while we stumble in blind disarray. Wait for wisdom to come like a spark. Even fireflies light up the dark. It's only at the twilight that fireflies become alive and light little sparks in time to catch a little glimpse of their way like me. So trust whatever's waiting when night has come.
Beloveds, thank you. Thank you once again for joining us today, this Juneteenth weekend, this third Sunday in our Summer Speakers series. It is wonderful and good to be together, even virtually. Thank you for participating in this community, for journeying forward together, and for finding your own ways to both nourish and be nourished by this great, good place. Though things do slow down here in the summer, please know your staff team, your leadership team are all still engaged and still available if you have questions, concerns, ideas. So please reach out and know that we too are dreaming of the future together. So as we leave, my prayer and my hope for you and for us is may life bless you and keep you. May the light of life shine upon you and out from within you, and be gracious unto you and grant you peace. For this is the day. This is the one wild and precious life that we are given. So let each one of us find some way to rejoice in it and to be glad. Go in peace, my friends, and make peace. Amen.